our series of interviews for Open Conference. Today, I have the pleasure to have with me Vasileios Souleles, Site Reliability Engineer at Google. Hi, Vasily, and welcome.
Hi, Matina. Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure for us to have you. We're very excited for your upcoming speech at Open Conference that will be held at 10 and 11 of November 2023. So let's start with the questions. My first question for you is, what inspired you to pursue a career in site reliability engineering, and how did you end up at Google?
I started my career as a software engineer, and later I switched to the role of infrastructure and automation engineer, or DevOps, as we called it. Since university, I have been curious about system internals, virtualization, cloud computing, distributed systems. So after getting some work experience, I decided I want to challenge myself against large-scale systems. I wanted to learn what's different about them. How do you design and implement a reliable distributed service? How do you maintain it? How do you push changes? How do you monitor it? Of course, I was interested in the software components of such service, but I also wanted to have a higher level understanding of from the systems perspective, let's say. So that's how I chose to go for a career in SRE. I chose Google because it's a company that has big, complex systems running 24/7, and also has a strong engineering and SRE culture. And on top of that, I always wanted to see how a cloud platform like GCP looks from the inside. I've been at Google for over 3 years now, and I've learned so much more than I imagined. And I believe I was very lucky to be placed in ProdSec SRE. ProdSec SRE is the team responsible for the security of the production environment, hence the name ProdSec SRE. And yeah, I'm proud to be part of the team that's responsible for keeping Google's infrastructure reliable and secure. I'm working at the intersection of security, reliability, and compliance, and this is always interesting and challenging.
Yes, of course. It's great to be on these very interesting topics. So, in your experience, what are the key challenges and priorities when it comes to ensuring the reliability and security of a cloud platform like a Google Cloud Platform?
Yes, so the first thing that comes to mind as a challenge is scale. So GCP is a massive platform with millions of users and billions of requests. Users depend on GCP to run their businesses, so GCP has to provide the highest quality of services, and this includes high availability, low latency, isolated failure domains, etc. So at this scale, making the platform reliable is difficult, as there are many potential points of failure. And another challenge is complexity. So GCP is a complex platform with a wide range of services and features. There are so many different components. Some of them are simple, some have cross-cutting concerns. And so with so many moving pieces, it's often difficult to reason about and understand the big picture. And so this overall complexity makes it challenging to manage and secure the platform. And on top of that, there's also no single team running the platform. We have many different SRE teams, each responsible for their own services and components. So to make GCP reliable and secure as a whole, we need some sort of horizontal prioritization solution to help coordinate individual teams, and that also adds to the complexity. And finally, the last challenge I would see would be change velocity, because the GCP is constantly changing, and it has to, because we want to be competitive. So there are new services and features being added all the time. A key challenge when building GCP is balancing reliability with change velocity. We want the platform to be stable and reliable for our users, but also at the same time, we want to continuously incorporate new features and improvements. And sometimes there's a tension. This tension makes it difficult to keep up with the latest security and reliability best practices. And this may lead to friction between dev teams and SRE teams. So yeah, these are some of the challenges I think I've observed. And when it comes to priorities to address these challenges, I think first and foremost we have reliability engineering. which is how we apply the SRE mindset and best practices to ensure the reliability of GCP. Some examples are extensive monitoring, alerting, having on-call rotations, having incident response, and for example, postmortems or root cause analysis. And will be the topic of my presentation, which is titled Postmortem Culture at Google, how we learn from failures and how can you too. Um, and then the other priority would be security engineering. As we said before, we have mandates that apply to all teams, and the goal is to instill security best practices to every team on how to run reliable services.
Mhm.
For example, we aim to secure and protect the integrity of our software supply chain. We try to decrease direct human access to production systems, and we also want to eliminate unilateral operations. So, and of course, on top of that, we invest heavily on proper authentication, authorization, and audit logging, and we want to integrate our security policy suite with every component on the platform.
Okay, so I hear many, many challenges. Apart from complexity, there is the scalability, there is the security. So, what advice would you give to a young person if he wanted to pursue a career in site reliability engineering? So, what would you say to him? What advice would you give to him?
Yeah, that's a great question. For starters, I would say definitely get some experience with cloud platforms and infrastructure.
Mhm.
This is essential for SREs as they are responsible for managing and maintaining cloud infrastructure and services. There are many different cloud platforms available, so it's important to get experience with at least one or two of them. Um, then I would say take a look at the service reliability hierarchy. It's a pyramid. You can read more about it in the SRE book. It's a pyramid with each layer building on top of the layer below it. And for example, at the base of the pyramid, we have monitoring because you cannot improve what you cannot measure. So the more complex the system, the more monitoring data you need to understand what's happening under the hood. And maybe then move up the pyramid by moving to the next layer, which is alerting and responding. This includes learning when to alert and when not to alert, to opt for actionable alerts, being on call for services, maintaining and executing playbooks, and of course, managing incidents. Triage and mitigate first, and analyze and resolve later. And that takes us to even the layer above that, which is postmortems and root cause analysis, which is also the topic of my talk. We don't want to get paid for the same instance again and again. We want to learn from failures, fix them, and allow the systems to fail in new and interesting ways in the future. And that's something we will see in the presentation of
Mhm.
postmortem culture
So
later.
they need good cloud knowledge. They need an analytical thinking in order to understand what happened in the system and read the alerts and the logs. But do they also need programming skills?
Definitely, because all those tools, the SRE tools available for SREs are extensible and programmable, and sometimes you need to come up with your own tools for your own needs. So definitely. Uh,
Okay.
and yeah, so besides SRE skills and some programming skills, I would also go for some cliche advice like be willing to learn and grow because the field of SRE is constantly evolving and SREs needs to keep up with new technologies and new tools or come up with their own tools, as we just said. And they need to be open to new ideas and be willing to adapt to change.
Okay. So looking ahead, what do you see as the future challenges and opportunities in the field, especially with respect to security and compliance?
Um, yeah, so it's tough. It's hard to make predictions in today's world, but I think there's definitely an interesting future for site reliability engineering. In my opinion, the biggest challenges ahead will be organizational. Uh, so let's take for example an imaginary organization that has some SRE teams. As the SRE tools evolve and become more standard and powerful, And as SRE practices mature and become widely accepted by both dev teams and SRE teams, I believe that we will get to some level of standardization of the services and the platform. And at this point in time, the SRE resources will be able to become overcommitted because SREs are expensive and hard to find.
Mhm.
And we may get to a point where SRE teams, which used to be responsible for 5 services and knew about all the quirks of those services, they are now responsible for 10 or more services, as long as the new services have converged to the common platform and follow the best practices. So I believe there will be an organizational challenge at that point where one SRE team will have to collaborate with more dev teams than they used to before, be responsible for more services, and the cognitive load on the SREs will increase. At the same time, the dev teams will have a strong motive to stick to the platform provided and follow the standards. And it will also become necessary to involve the SRE teams earlier in the product development lifecycle. And this may be new both for the dev teams and for the SRE teams. So if that prediction is correct, if things go this way, there will be for sure friction in the process. It will not happen overnight. Each organization will have to find their own way of adopting the new paradigm.
Mhm.
But yeah, despite these challenges, I believe the future is bright. As the technology evolves, we will probably get more standardization and more automation, and we may even get AI to solve some of the issues that will emerge. SRE will continue to be a force multiplier on product development and feature velocity, and it will be key in delivering reliable services to our users.
Mhm. Mhm. Great. So my last question is about your upcoming speech at Open Conference. Can you give us a short teaser about what we're going to talk about?
Sure. So the topic is titled Postmortem Culture at Google: How we learn from failures and how can you too. And it's a short introduction of how we do root cause analysis at Google. So when we have an incident and something happens, we want to first mitigate the problem, stop the pain for our customers first. But then we want to take the time to analyze what happened, understand in depth how we came to this incident, and then we want to plan for the future. We want to prevent this failure from happening again. We want to uh, come up with action items to improve our systems so that this incident cannot happen again. And we want to keep track of the progress, of this process, so that it's available for our team for future reference. It's available for adjacent teams who may want to learn from our failures. We may even want to make it public with our customers so that our customers trust the process we're following to fixing our bugs. And we also want to collect postmortems as artifacts and analyze them at the organization level to measure the reliability improvements we provide to the platform as a whole.
Mhm. And that, of course, has some prerequisites to have the tracing procedures in place, the logging, the monitoring, the reporting, everything in place so that you have all the information you need in order to do the root cause analysis and the postmortem.
Yes, absolutely. As you said before, there's a pyramid of reliability, and monitoring is at the base layer of the pyramid, and postmortem and root cause analysis comes, 1 or 2 layers above that.
Mhm.
You need a solid foundation of visibility on your platform before you can reason and understand the incidents that happen on the platform.
Okay, that's great. So thank you very much, Vasilis. And we're looking forward to see you live at Open Conference. Our conference will be held at the 10th and 11th of November in 2023. We expect all of you to book your tickets in the links provided in the video below. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Matina.